to this June 10, 2022 regular meeting of the San Francisco Ethics Commission. This hybrid meeting is being held pursuant to the 45th supplement to Mayoral Proclamation declaring the existence of a local emergency dated February 25, 2020. The minutes of this meeting will reflect that city commissions and boards created by the city charter that are not advisory bodies shall hold meetings in person subject to conditions specified in this proclamation. As a charter-based commission that is not advisory, the Ethics Commission has now resumed in-person meetings in City Hall with a new hybrid format. Before we proceed further, I'd like to explain some procedures regarding the format of today's meeting. Members of the public may attend and provide public comment here in our meeting room in person, may also observe the meeting remotely by electronic means, and are offered the opportunity to provide public comment remotely by phone or through the WebEx platform as detailed in our agenda. Please note that also pursuant to the February proclamation, commissioners, members of the public, and any presenters, parties, or participants who attend an in-person meeting must comply with all applicable health orders, guidance, or directives from the Department of Public Health and the Department of Human Resources, and rules regulating the use of the facility in which the meeting occurs. Today's meeting is being live cablecast on SFGov TV2 and streamed live online at sfgovtv.org/ethicslive. Mr. Moderator, can you please explain for the public how public comment will be handled in today's hybrid meeting format?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Public comment will be available on each item on this agenda. Each member of the public will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Comments or opportunities to speak during the public comment period will be made available in the meeting room, room 400, City Hall, for those attending the meeting in person. Comments or opportunities to speak during the public comment period are also being provided via phone call by calling 1-415-655-0001. Again, the phone number is 1-415-655-0001. Access code is 2493-896-1078. Again, access code 2493-896-1078, followed by the pound sign. Then press pound again to join as an attendee. For callers, you will hear a beep when you are connected to the meeting. You will be automatically muted and in listening mode only. When your item of interest comes up, dial *3 to raise your hand and to be added to the public comment line. You will then hear, "You have raised your hand to ask a question. Please wait until the host calls on you." The line will be silent as you wait your turn to speak. Ensure that you are in a quiet location. Before you speak, mute the sound of any equipment around you, including television, radio, or computer. It is especially important that you mute your computer if you are watching via the web link to prevent feedback and echo when you speak. When the system message says your line has been unmuted, this is your turn to speak. You will hear staff say, "Welcome, caller. We encourage you to state your name clearly." As soon as you begin speaking, you will have 3 minutes to provide your public comment, 6 minutes if you're online with an interpreter. You will hear a bell go off when you have 30 seconds remaining. If you change your mind to withdraw from the public comment line, press *3 again. You will hear the system say, "You have lowered your hand." Once your 3 minutes has expired, staff will thank you and mute you. You will hear, "Your line has been muted." Attendees who wish to speak during other public comment periods may stay on the line and listen for the next public comment opportunity and should raise their hands to enter the public comment line by pressing *3 when their next item of interest comes up.
We don't need to do this every fucking time.
Public comment may also be submitted in writing and will be shared with the Commission after this meeting has concluded and will be included as part of the official meeting file. Written comments should be sent to ethics.commission@sfgov.org. Once again, written comments should be sent to ethics.commission@sfgov.org. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Moderator. And now I'll call the meeting to order. We will proceed to agenda item number 1, which is roll call, please.
Roll call. Commissioner Bush,
Present.
Commissioner Flores-Fang,
Present.
Commissioner Finliff,
Present.
Chair Lee,
Present?
Commissioner Romano.
Present.
With 5 members present and accounted for, Chair Lee, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Now let's go to agenda item number 2, which is public comment on matters not appearing on the agenda. The commission is now receiving public comment on agenda item number 2. As the moderator has indicated, each member of the public will have up to 3 minutes to provide public comment. So, Mr. Moderator, do we have anyone on queue? Do we have any?
Please stand by. Madam Chair, we are checking to see if there are callers in the queue. We have 1 caller in the queue. Please stand by. Welcome, caller. Your 3 minutes begins now.
Hi, I have a general question about the way your agenda is formatted today. And I'm concerned if I wait until I get to item number 6, that it will be held in closed session. So I wanted to say that it would be nice to make it clear whether the public will get an update on that item before you go into closed session so that we can hear kind of what the status is and what the concerns are. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stand by while we're checking for other callers in the queue. Madam Chair, there's no further callers in the queue.
Okay, hearing no further callers, general public comment under agenda item number 2 is now closed. I now call for consent calendar. Commissioners, as noted on the agenda, there will be no separate discussions on the consent calendar item unless a request is made by a commission member or a member of the public in attendance, in which event the matter shall be removed from the consent calendar and considered as a separate item. Does any commission member wish to discuss any item on the consent calendar? I see none. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's check with the moderator to see if we have any public comments on this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are checking to see if there are callers in the queue who wish to discuss either of the consent calendar items. Please stand by. Madam Chair, there's no callers in the queue.
Okay, thank you. Public comment is closed for consent calendar. Now let's check on a motion to adopt consent calendar item 3, which is draft minutes of the Commission's May 13th, 2022 regular meeting, and item 4, Ethics Commission resolution on continuation of remote hybrid meetings. Do I see a motion? Motion by Commissioner Bush, seconded by?
Seconded.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Bylaws. So let's go for the roll call, please.
On the motion to adopt the consent calendar, Commissioner Bush,
Aye.
Commissioner Flores-Fang,
Aye.
Commissioner Finliff,
Aye.
Chair Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Romano.
Aye.
Madam Chair, with 5 votes in the affirmative and 0 votes opposed, the motion is approved unanimously.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Now let's go to agenda item number 5, which is Executive Director's Report for June 2022. Let's call on Director Pelham for your report, please.
Thank you, Commissioner, the Commission members and Commissioner Lee, Chair Lee. Good morning. The Executive Director's report this month is fairly brief. Other than a quick update, we are continuing to do our hiring process and applicant review for our Ethics at Work program. I'm excited about the progress we're making and hope to have further news for you next month in more specifics. Mostly the news that I wanted to share this morning is the mayor released her budget on June 1st. The report references the information and the budget items that were included and that were rejected in the mayor's budget this year for the proposals that the commission submitted in February. Notably, we were pleased to see that several of the reclassifications of existing position authorities that we had asked for were approved, so that we'll be able to realign positions doing vital work with the nature and scope of the job classifications that are most appropriate for those. Other items that are fundamental to do our work, services of the departments were mostly included, as were other upgrades for things like software licenses and so forth. In terms of the position authorities that we had asked for to be new position authorities, including 2 positions related to public engagement and policy implementation and development, a senior auditor, and the commission secretary, the mayor's budget chose to include the commission secretary position and declined to include the other positions. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions on commissions?
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry, did the mayor provide any reasoning for her decisions?
We had the opportunity late yesterday actually to speak with the mayor's office and ask about the position that was included to see if there was flexibility so that the commission could decide if it's one position that's being funded, the commission could assess which position that would be budget neutral might be appropriate. That flexibility was not, it was rejected. So as we understand it from the mayor's budget staff, they had 2 things in mind. One was that there are a number of citywide vacancies, and so they were trying to apparently identify for departments where the positions requested would be most supportive of their operations. But they didn't give a specific reason as to why this position that they funded for us was different than the others. I think they understood it to be something that they thought was useful.
But did they explain why they rejected the 3 positions that were requested?
No, we had to follow up with the mayor's office to request information after June 1st. We heard about it on the eve of June 1st that this was the proposal. So we followed up and were able to speak with the budget analyst yesterday, who gave us that feedback that the mayor is looking at vacancy issues. We thought this didn't really relate to a vacancy concern since there is a position funded, but we were hoping to have flexibility as a department, of course, to determine what the best position might be to fulfill the programmatic priorities the commission has. Unfortunately, that's not something that the mayor's office agreed to.
Was there an indication that the staff didn't think those particular positions, senior auditor, policy specialist, civic specialist, were not necessary?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't hear the first part.
I'm just wondering if there was a substantive communication from the mayor's staff as to why those 3 particular positions were rejected, like they thought those positions were not necessary, were not appropriate, like what the point was?
No, I mean, unlike prior budget years, we had several weeks and months of substantive engagement on positions in the prioritization. We didn't have that opportunity this year.
Okay, thank you.
I have a quick question. For the secretary job, it says a classification 1454. What is that?
That is called a commission secretary or an executive secretary position.
Right, I understand.
Oh, yes.
What pay scale is it? Is it relative to, I don't need the exact numbers, but is it relative to a very senior full-time staffer, or is it an intermediate?
No, it would actually be comparable to an entry-level, what we call a administrative analyst,
assistant?
or an 1822, which is the entry level in the analyst series in the city.
Okay.
So what would be the minimum qualification for that?
I don't have that in front of me. I think there's probably some years of experience doing commission or administrative support work in an executive or
It's not
organizational
considered
setting.
a professional management level position?
No.
I'd like to ask a question about a couple of
Yes,
things.
Commissioner Bush. Maybe, since I cannot see you, maybe We will call you first and see if you have any questions in the future. My apologies. Commissioner Bush.
Oh, that's all right. I'm in hiding.
Go ahead, please.
So I have a couple of questions. Are you going to develop a job description for the commission secretary? And what input do you want from us? Hello?
Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner Bush, could you repeat the last part of that question? I did not hear you.
What job description and what input do you want from us as commissioner?
Well, we would have to develop a job description for the commission secretary. There are certain parameters that those positions those classifications require. And then I will seek to get feedback from you as that job description is developed to try to make sure we can address as many of the other types of programmatic functions that the commission was looking to serve in terms of public engagement and public-facing activities as well. So I think I will certainly consult with the chair and welcome input as we develop that job description.
And what's the timetable that you have in mind for developing that job description?
I think with the positions that we currently have, we're currently in active recruitment for 4 positions, and we have 2 more that are from the last year's budget. So we have 6 positions that we're trying to focus on getting in recruitment this summer, so we're probably looking at the first part of the fall.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think to the extent that we can time your description of the commission secretary to us going into an election cycle, that would be helpful, because I think a lot of people will look to the commission secretary as a focal point for input on commission work and commission requests. So that's one point I wanted to make. The second question I have is, can you provide in the next meeting what you see as the total amount that has been promised to lobbyists for the work so far this year, and for what particular kinds of projects? Like, for example, if it's primarily for development of a specific property, or if it's primarily for hiring somebody in a certain job, like we'll be looking at hiring new people for the new commissions that are being formed. What do you guys see as rising to the top?
Commissioner Bush, I'm happy to try and provide some information at the next meeting that gives you context about the world of what we were seeing from lobbying disclosure reports to those points about amounts promised for payments and the types of activities that they're engaged in. So I'm happy to follow up with you offline to make sure I understand sort of the breadth and the specificity of your questions so that we could try and answer them for you.
I'm sorry, my voice is not all that it could be.
That's fine. Thank you. I'm happy to try and get that information to the commission.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from my fellow commissioners? If not, let's open up for public comments, please.
Madam Chair, we are checking to see if there are any callers in the queue. Please stand by. For those who have just joined us, we are currently taking public comment on item number 5, Executive Director Monthly Report. Please stand by. Madam Chair, there's no callers in the queue.
Okay. Now let's go to item number 6, which is proposed closed session. Today's agenda includes a proposed closed session item under item 6 for an update with labor negotiator regarding labor negotiations. This item has been scheduled for the Commission's discussion and possible action. Employee relations staff from DHR is here with us today for this closed session item. The anticipated issue under negotiation is the status of the meet and confer with the employee organization, San Francisco Municipal Executives Association, regarding the Ethics Commission's proposed June 2022 ballot measure and regulation amendments. For purposes of this item today, there are 4 steps involved. First, under item 6A, we will receive public comment on all matters pertaining to agenda item number 6, including whether to meet in closed session. Second, we will then vote on whether to meet in closed session under California Government Code section 54957.6 and Sunshine Ordinance section 67.10E to discuss labor negotiation. This will be an action item as noted in item 6B. Third, if a closed session is held, the Commission will initiate that closed session meeting to meet with a labor negotiator, and following that closed session, we will then reconvene in open session. Fourth, pursuant to Brown Act Section 54957.1 and Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.12, and as shown under agenda item, we will discuss and vote on the motion regarding whether or not to disclose any action taken or discussions held in closed session regarding the labor negotiations. We've been here before, so does any member of the Commission have any questions about today's process? Commissioner Bush? Do you have any questions?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, so with that, I want to ask our City Attorney Shen if there's anything that you would like to add or advise the Commission before we take a vote? No, thank you. So let's proceed to public comment on item number 6, which is all matters pertaining to this item, including whether to meet in closed session.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are checking to see if there are callers in the queue. Please stand by. Madam Chair, we have a caller in the queue.
Okay?
Welcome, caller. Your 3 minutes begins now.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Charles Head, President of San Francisco's, the President of CSFN, the Coalition for San Francisco Neighborhoods, not of some San Francisco neighborhoods, but for all San Francisco neighborhoods. Here we are again. But there was progress last week. Prop E passed. The city voters decided they want reform of behested payments. Ethics reform by this commission is starting to resemble the lack of gun reform by recalcitrant Republicans in Congress. Impassable. Look, this week, the Board of Supervisors advanced a place for all legislation about homelessness. Some said it may not work, but they unanimously recognized their moral obligation to pass this legislation. It's about time that this commission passed the legislation for the November ballot measure. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Please stand by while we're checking for other callers in the queue. Madam Chair, there's no further callers in the queue.
Okay, thank you. Now that we have closed public comment, we will now proceed to a vote under item number B, whether to meet in closed session under California Government Code Section 54957.6 and Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.10E to discuss labor negotiations. Do I hear a motion? I'll move. Second?
So moved.
Oh, okay.
Seconded.
Okay. Let's take a vote, please. Roll call, please.
A motion has been made and seconded to proceed into closed session. I will now take roll. Commissioner Bush?
Aye.
Commissioner Flores-Feng?
Aye.
Commissioner Finlith?
Aye.
Chair Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Romano?
Aye.
With 5 votes in the affirmative and 0 votes opposed, the motion is approved unanimously.
Thank you, Clerk. We will now move into closed session for update with labor negotiators. Labor negotiations, discussion on possible action, employee organization, San Francisco Municipal Executives Association, and anticipated issues under negotiation. Status of meet and confer concerning the Ethics Commission's proposed November 2022 ballot measure and regulation amendments. And for those who are following us online, please note that we will be going into closed session, but the audio and visuals will resume live once we reconvene in open session. We thank you in advance for your patience and your continued interest. Now let's move to closed session.
SF Gov TV, San Francisco Government Television. 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 SF Gov TV, San Francisco Government Television.
Okay, we are now back in public session, and I want to thank the members of the public for your patience and continued interest and engagement as we now resume our open session meeting. Commissioners, do I have a motion whether or not to disclose any action taken or discussions held in closed session?
I move to not disclose the content of the closed session.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, the motion was made and seconded not to disclose any action taken or discussions held in closed session. Roll call, please.
On the motion to not disclose closed session deliberations, I will now call roll. Commissioner Flores-Fang,
Aye.
Commissioner Finliff,
Aye.
Chair Lee,
Aye.
and Commissioner Bush. Okay.
He has technical issues. He cannot participate.
Okay. With 3 votes in the affirmative and 0 votes opposed, the motion is approved unanimously.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. My fellow commissioners, this has been at least the 4th time that we had closed session, and it's been a regular practice that afterwards we issue a public statement, a report, or whatever you want to call it, to keep the public informed with what we've been doing on behalf of their interests toward the ballot measure. Of course, these statements do not disclose anything that we are not allowed to, but the purpose of it was it has been 29 months since the original FBI investigation exposed the city's scandal, and it's been 7 months since we've engaged, we've issued the first ballot proposal. So since this has been an ongoing process to keep the public informed, I'd like to ask my fellow commissioners to continue this process for your approval to let me work with the executive director on a statement to again keep the public, the city informed. Especially given Tuesday's election, I think there's a lot of interest with what's going to happen with this, and I think that we need to really make sure that to the extent possible, we need to let the city know that our staff activities and this commission remains committed to the task in hand. So I don't think we need a vote on that. I just want to let you know that I will be working with the director just like we've been doing the last 3 times. Do we need a vote?
Charlie, if I understood you correctly, you were looking for the commission to express its support of delegating to you
Right.
the ability to
Vote.
issue something. I think I'm advised by the city attorney that would require a roll call vote, which
Oh,
if you
okay.
would like to do that, we could take that
my
now.
apologies. So I would seek a vote from my fellow commissioners to delegate myself and the executive director to work on the latest statement or report of whatever. The purpose is to distribute it to the public, just to let people know where we are and what we've been doing.
So I guess I have a question. If this has been a regular practice, I don't remember delegating authority before. So is this something different than what we've done in the past? That is being considered?
I think the previous times I just think, I remember we just say, let's issue a statement, and then that was it. But this time, I just want to make sure that this is done more properly, that
If I might, Chair Lee, I recall the last time there was a statement issued by the commission, it was related to the, in February 2021 regarding the budget. And I believe the commission delegated to the chair at that time issuing a statement. I don't believe it was by roll call vote. I think it was more informal. But the chair did, on behalf of the commission, issue a statement regarding the budget at that time.
But I do remember that we've been issuing regular statements the last couple of meetings, just to let people know where we were.
I'm not personally remembering or aware of any regular statement that has been issued. I think it's a fine idea to inform the public, but I'm just not, we've spoken about it in meetings.
Okay. So do we need a vote for this time to allow me to work with the executive director on a statement of some sort or a release, public release of some sort?
Hi, hopefully my mic's on now. Yeah, I think you may want to clarify, if you don't mind, Chair Lee, exactly what you intend to do with the statement. I think it's something more than responding to press inquiries or responding to inquiries from the public.
Okay.
My understanding is that you sort of want to affirmatively provide the statement, maybe seek to put it as an op-ed on behalf of the commission. And generally, yes, if you are speaking on behalf of the commission, then I think it's something that the other commissioners should delegate to you.
My vision is to issue a statement as a commission to let the public know where things are. Right now, the reason why I seek the authority from my fellow commissioners is right now we don't know where the best vehicles are. It could be just issue as a press release, send it out to far and wide, or if there's some interest, to print it as a opinion piece. Again, not as individual, but on behalf of the commission, because this is a commission activity. So that's why I'm seeking the support from my fellow commissioners to proceed working with the executive directors to look for best way to get the information out to the public. It could be a press release, it could be a general statement on our website, it could be an opinion piece, whichever way that we can get the best exposure. That's why, you know, if we can have some flexibility, but the key is to keep the public informed and engaged, as you heard from the callers, as indicated by the Tuesday's election. There's a lot of interest, and there's a certain level of frustration there. And I think it's really important for the public to know that this commission remains steadfast, remains committed. The staff works continuously very hard to make certain recommendations. So I think the key is this is a report back to the public kind of a action item.
So I think those are all wonderful ideas, and I think looking into the best vehicle to share that makes a lot of sense. But if it gets to the point of issuing an actual statement in our names, I'm not sure I'd be comfortable with that without having seen the statement ahead of time. Because it sounds like you're talking about a statement in the names of the commissioners, maybe not literally our names, but saying it's on behalf of the commissioners. And I think I would just want the opportunity to actually see it before it's issued if it's a statement that I'm part of making.
Maybe we can draft something up, and by the end of today, we can share that with the commissioners. And if there is a short turnaround for minor edits or whatever, then the staff can distribute it ASAP because these are sensitive, time-sensitive information. So if we can do that, would that work?
Go ahead, Andrew.
No, go ahead, please.
Well, just a couple of sort of process questions. One, referencing the bylaws. The bylaws do say that the chair is serves as a liaison to the media. That's something that we typically see when we do commission press releases. We often have a quote from the chair, and that's something that is a statement that's under the chair's name, of course. But I would note in this instance, if timing is of the essence, or if the chair has a clear place idea about where you would like to send a statement, it could also be something that is a statement issued from the chair. If that's problematic to try and get commissioners' statements or review of it. I would also, unfortunately, the staff who are, 3 of our staff who would be involved in doing some of the legwork next week are all out of pocket beginning the end of today, so there are some constraints at our end that we would want to make sure that we support the commission appropriately in getting this out in the proper place and with the full support of the commission in whatever method you choose. Just wanted to provide that context.
I think if the statement on behalf of the chair, by all means, you should say all kinds of things. I guess I'm just not comfortable making a statement in my name without having seen the statement before it's out there. It's not because I have any concern about the substance of what you're describing, Madam Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Flores-Fan, do you have any comments or suggestions?
Thank you, Chair Lee. I'm also in agreement with Commissioner Finlap. I'm completely fine with Chair Lee publishing a statement on your own, but I would also want to review any statement that was on behalf of the commission, and will also be out of pocket starting at midnight this evening. So I could review something before then, but otherwise, no.
Okay, normally I like to do everything on behalf of the commission, but given the processing concerns that we may have, with your indulgence, I'll just work with the staff to issue it under my name as chair representing the commission for this statement, if that's okay, and then we'll just move forward, because I'm really concerned that we need to get this done ASAP. Would that be okay with everybody? Then we don't need to vote?
Well, it sounds like it would be a statement by you,
By me,
but not
yeah.
representing the commission, as I understand it. I mean, you are the chair of the commission, but you're not representing the other commissioners, as I understand it.
Yeah, right, okay. Okay, so then we don't need to vote?
That's correct. I think the necessity for the vote was the proposal that you were going to speak on behalf of the commission in your eventual public statement.
Okay.
But
okay.
it seems like everyone is comfortable with, again, you just issuing a statement on your own behalf as the chair.
Okay, but that could be placed on our website.
Sure, I will defer to you and the executive director
Okay.
exactly how to place or distribute
Okay.
the statement from the chair.
Okay, thank you for your
Thank you.
indulgence. So now let's proceed to agenda item number 7, please, which is discussion and possible action on items for future meetings. Recommendations? If not, let's open up for public comments, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are checking to see if there are callers in the queue. Please stand by. Madam Chair, there are no callers in the queue.
Okay, thank you. Public comment is closed. Agenda item number 8, please, which is comment on additional opportunities for public comments on matters not appearing on the agenda.
Madam Chair, we are checking to see if there are any callers in the queue. Please stand by. Madam Chair, there are no callers in the queue.
Okay, public comment is closed. Now is agenda item number 9, which is adjournment. There's no need for public comment, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, for your patience and your engagement.